Your iPhone is an amazing piece of technology, but as amazing as it is, there are still some really annoying issues that users face, common problems that are actually really easy to fix, provided you know what to do. In this video, I'll show you how to fix 10 of those common problems. Stick with me until the end of the video. You never know, I might just be able to solve an issue that's been driving you crazy for ages. Okay, let's get into it. I reckon we've all had this happen to us on our iPhones before. You shoot a video thinking that you've been holding your phone in landscape mode, but for whatever reason, when you review the video, it's showing in portrait mode. You tilt your phone to try and straighten the video out, and the video flips with you. It's a pain, and essentially what you have now is a landscape video that's been flipped to portrait dimensions. Thankfully, the fix is really quick and easy, and you can do it from right within your phone. Open the video in the Photos app and tap the edit button up here at the top right of your screen. Then down at the bottom of the screen, tap this crop icon with the arrows around it. That will then open up these new options up at the top of the screen, and we want to tap this one, the square with the curved arrow next to it. Tap this as many times as you need to until the video is showing the way that you want it to, and then tap Done down at the bottom of the screen. Your video will now be saved in such a way that each time you open it, you'll immediately be able to view it the correct way. I like live photos. If you aren't aware, they're the photos that you take where your iPhone also captures a couple of seconds of video, and you can view that footage by holding on the photo that you've taken, or even use it to create cool effects like long exposures or boomerangs. Problem is, they are kind of a novelty, and most of the time I don't want to take a live photo, but a lot of the time, even if I choose not to take a live photo, the next time that I open the camera app, live photo is on by default again. It's annoying always having to disable this feature, but there is a really easy fix. Head to Settings, then choose Camera, and then tap into Preserve Settings. Essentially, anything that you enable in this menu, your choice will be remembered by your phone the next time that you're using the camera app. So if I scroll down and toggle on live photo, for example, this means that if I then go to the camera app and disable live photos, even if I close the camera app and open it again, even if I restart my iPhone, my phone will remember the setting that I had selected for live photos, which in this case would be off. You can of course manually toggle it on if you want to, but then remember to toggle it back off before you close the camera app down again, as whatever you choose will be remembered. You can see all of the other options that are available to you on this screen, so if there are any other settings that you think you'd benefit from changing here, you can go ahead. Before we continue, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Neeva, the world's first private ad-free search engine. We search for stuff online every day, and most of us use one of a small number of the most popular search engines. But have you ever stopped to think about the negatives of doing so? Results tainted by bias and censorship, misleading ads that are made to look like real search results, and of course the practice of tracking you and selling your data for profit. Neeva is all about offering you an alternative form of search. They provide 100% real, unbiased results, clearly marked and categorized, so you never have to question whether the one you're about to click on is high quality or not. Neeva align themselves with you, the person searching, not the advertiser, putting you back in charge of your online life. With Neeva, you see fewer results from ads or results with corporate or financial influence, and more results from enthusiasts, experts, and actual people. You can decide if you want to see more of a specific website in your results, and use filters to show only authoritative sources, like medical providers for health searches. And importantly, Neeva respects your privacy and doesn't share your search behavior with anyone. It's available on iOS and Android, and as a Chrome and Firefox extension, or you can simply visit their website. And I know what you're thinking, if they're ad-free, how do they make money? The answer is through the premium tier, which offers unlimited searches, new features, and access to extras like LastPass Premium. You can use the free tier if you wish, or you can trial the premium tier for free for 1 full month by visiting the link in the description of this video to see if it's right for you. A common issue for iPhone owners is running low on space, and this usually only rears its head at the time when you need it most, perhaps when you're trying to download the latest iPhone update file, for example, and find that you can't. Clearly, if you're running an especially old phone with very little storage, this issue is going to be much harder for you to resolve than anyone else, and you might have to consider upgrading to a phone with more space in the near future. But in all instances, the first thing you can do is perform a storage audit and see if you can get rid of some junk. Here's how we would do that. Open Settings, then choose General, and then tap on iPhone Storage. Up here at the top of the screen, you can see a chart displaying your current storage situation. This will show you how much space your iPhone offers, how much space you're currently using, and how that usage is broken down. From here, it's up to you how you decrease the amount of storage that you're using. A good place to start is to scroll down the list of apps here and see if there are any apps that you don't really use or haven't used in a really long time. Anything like that could be a good candidate for deletion and therefore freeing up some space on your iPhone. Another method of clearing up space is to look for any apps that are using way more space than they should be. It's typically media apps that take up a lot of space, things like video or music streaming apps where you might have downloaded content for offline consumption, or perhaps you've built up a cache of data over time. Your apps will be listed in order of size here, so it should make this job pretty easy. Face ID is great, but it can be a real pain if you're wearing a face mask or if you're wearing sunglasses. Both of these situations can, on occasion, cause Face ID not to work. Thankfully, the fix for both of these issues is really straightforward. Head to Settings, then Face ID and Passcode. Input your passcode here if you need to, and then there are two options that we need to look at. The first is Face ID with a mask. We need to toggle that option on. This will solve the mask issue, although do be aware that in order for this to work, you'll need to ensure that you're looking at your phone when you try and unlock it. Your phone needs your attention in order for this option to work. The second option is Require Attention for Face ID, and this is the option that you'll want to toggle off if you're having issues with Face ID not recognizing you when you're wearing sunglasses. Now, it might be obvious to you, but just in case you're unaware, if you're wearing a mask and wanting to wear sunglasses, you might be out of luck, as the mask option needs your attention for Face ID to work, and sunglasses requires you to switch attention off. So it's worth keeping in mind that both of these options can work, but separately. By the way, if you'd like to have an accompanying PDF version of this video, it's available to download, and you can access it by joining the channel's membership program. For a small monthly fee, you'll get access to all PDFs moving forward, plus the growing library of old ones. There isn't one specific fix for an iPhone overheating. In most cases, the best thing to do is to get to the root cause of why the iPhone is overheating, and then try and eliminate that issue. But here are a few things you should definitely try when dealing with an iPhone that's getting a bit too hot. This might sound really obvious, but think about any external factors that might be making your iPhone too hot. Clearly, if you're leaving your iPhone in the direct sun, that's going to do it. But it could even be things like using those car vent clips that allow you to use your phone as a sat-nav, or leaving it on top of other electronic devices that get too hot, or even the phone case that you've got it in. Try and use process of elimination to figure out if anything outside of the phone is what's causing it to overheat. Restart your phone. Honestly, I always feel like a bit of a charlatan when a friend or family member asks me for help with a problem, and the very first thing I have them do is restart their iPhone, but you'd be amazed how often this works. Restarting your iPhone closes down all of your apps. It also removes any data caches that might have been created that could be causing an issue, and stops any processes that could be running in the background that could be causing a problem. It's by no means a guaranteed fix, but it should be one of the very first things that you try. See if removing any recent apps helps. Most apps are built to strict design codes by software engineers that know what they're doing, but that's not always the case. If you notice that the overheating started right after you downloaded a specific app, try deleting that app and see if the issue goes away. You could then, of course, download and use the app again, and if the problem persists, you know that this is your issue. Update your iPhone. This one comes with a bit of a caveat, because in general, my advice is always to keep your iPhone as up to date as possible to ensure that you're running the most secure software that's been optimized for your phone, but the annual iOS update is actually when most people notice that their phones get quite hot temporarily. This is normal. It's down to your phone running lots of background tasks related to the update, and it usually calms down by itself after a day or so, but it is just something to be aware of. Avoid overusing really intensive apps. Again, most apps have been designed to work effectively with your iPhone, but it is logic that a graphically intensive video game or a video editing app, for example, is going to use way more CPU and GPU than a regular note-taking app or something like that. That shouldn't stop you from using those kinds of apps, but if you're playing the latest and greatest game on your iPhone all the time, your iPhone is probably going to get pretty hot. And if that's an issue for you, you may want to cut down on how much you're using those kinds of apps. So your iPhone screen is dark, almost so dark that you're unable to see it, and because of this you're struggling to get the brightness turned back up to a normal level. There's a few ways that you can fix this. First of all, it's worth pointing out that the brightness control is available to you. So if you're able to see the screen even the tiniest amount, the quickest and easiest way to fix this is to swipe down to enable Control Center and then swipe up on the brightness level to bring your screen brightness back. But if you really can't see enough to do this, you've got a couple of other options. If you've enabled Siri on your phone, you can activate Siri like you usually would, and then say screen brightness to 100%, and it will turn the brightness right up for you. Or if you'd prefer, you can hard reset your iPhone. On an iPhone like mine with a full screen, simply tap the volume up button, then tap the volume down button, then press and hold the power button. You'll likely need to hold for around 10 to 15 seconds, but you're waiting until you see the Apple logo appear, at which point you would let go of the power button. Your iPhone will restart with the screen brightness turned up. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, why not consider signing up to my newsletter, The Proper Weekly? I include some tech news from the week, a behind the scenes of what's happening here on the channel, as well as a tip for an item in the Apple ecosystem. The newsletter goes out each Friday, it's free to join, and I'll include a sign up link in the description of this video. If you find that your iPhone is often taking random screenshots, this is usually down to you or someone you've given access to your phone in the past setting up an accessibility shortcut, which you might have then forgotten about. The shortcut in question is where a double tap of the back of your iPhone will automatically take a screenshot, and it can be really helpful, but it can also be a pain if it's either a bit oversensitive or if maybe you've set it up, forgotten about it, and don't use it all that often. So to check if you've got it set up, tap on Settings, then Accessibility, then Touch. Then scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen and tap into where it says Back Tap. You can see that on my phone under Double Tap, I've got screenshots set up. This means that every time I double tap the back of my phone, a screenshot is going to be taken. This is a great feature for those who struggle with the normal method of taking a screenshot, but it can be a little oversensitive. So you've got two options. First, disable it altogether. Just set this back to none. The second option is to go back a page and change screenshot to a triple tap, where you have to tap the back of your phone 3 times in a row instead of 2. The reason this can work better is you are less likely to accidentally do something to trigger a triple tap on your phone than you are a double tap, so it makes the entire process a bit more deliberate. Oh, and just as a reminder, if you struggle with taking screenshots but you don't want to set a double or triple tap, one other method is to use Siri to take a screenshot instead. Simply activate it and say take a screenshot, and your iPhone assistant will oblige. One complaint I often hear from iPhone owners is that they get frustrated when a call comes in and only appears as a banner up at the top of the screen rather than a full screen call alert, which is how it used to be. This is actually a feature that Apple have added in over the years in iOS updates, as a lot of people prefer it this way, but it is fair to say that I think just as many people don't. If you're one of those people, here's how to set it back to how it was. Head to Settings, then tap on Phone, then tap on Incoming Calls, and if yours is currently set to banner, change it to full screen. Now, no matter what you're doing on your phone, call alerts will come in full screen. Remember when all the major phone companies were competing with each other to try and make the smallest phones possible? It's definitely not like that anymore. It's all about screen real estate, but the downside to this is that if you have small hands, you might struggle to use your phone effectively with one. Thankfully, there is a really easy fix for this. Head to Settings, then Accessibility, then Touch, and ensure that reachability is enabled. Once done, on a phone like this with no home button, you're going to swipe down at the bottom of the screen. I find that if you do this around where the dock is, a confident little swipe down should be enough to trigger the action that we want, which is that the display will move almost halfway down the phone, bringing the top of the screen well within reach of your thumb if you're using this with one hand. You could then tap into whatever it is that you're trying to access here, and once you do that, the phone will return right back to normal. The final tip only works if you've got an Apple Watch as well as an iPhone, but I'm including it here regardless, as I know so many people who own both an iPhone and an Apple Watch and have absolutely no idea about this one. If you ever can't find your iPhone, let's say that you know it's in the house but you don't know where, you can use your watch to help you find your phone. Simply swipe up on your watch to get access to Control Center and tap this little phone button here. Or you can use Siri on your watch and say, "Where's my phone?" Either way, your phone will begin playing a chime sound nice and loud, which you can then use to find your way to your device. So there you go, that's how to fix 10 of the most common iPhone problems. What do you think? Any common problems and fixes that should have been included here? Drop me a comment and let me know about them. If there's enough, I might even make a second video. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.